So today is Friday the 13th, or at least it is for me at the time of this recording, so I thought I'd play a darker game, Warlock. And as you can see, this is not based on the 1989 movie of the same name, at least that doesn't look like Julian Sands. Here's some information on the game. Your quest will take you through 20 levels of clammy ruins, infested cemeteries, and dangling skeletons. Because there at the Earth's core you'll meet and do battle with he who has stolen the Karna. His evil is unspeakable, his power unimaginable, his name unpronounceable, his penis unmeasurable. Oh, wait. Moving on, let me take a look inside the box. Now, the only items we're actually going to find in there are a single-page manual and a floppy disk. But the manual is a double-sided page, so that totally makes up for it. No, seriously, that's just pretty cheap that they don't have a traditional manual in there. But in all fairness, the publisher 360 were pretty new to the scene at that time, so I'll give them a pass on this one. So as mentioned, the game was published by 360, who's probably best known for their later ports of Dark Castle, which was a classic Macintosh game, but unfortunately the later ports really suffered with some bad controls. I mean, arguably the worst controls of any game, but maybe I'll review that game at a later date. Now, Warlock was originally called Warlock's Quest when it was released on the Atari ST. Not sure why they shortened the name for the Apple IIGS. It was also ported to the Commodore Amiga. Now, surprisingly, there's really not that much information online about this game. I don't know if it's a rare game that just not that many people know about, but really the only information you're going to find as far as instructions is on that one-page manual. So, best of luck. So there are 3 difficulty settings in the game, but any sane person is going to choose the easiest, and you'll soon find out why. But I've been playing Warlock a very long time, probably since I was 7 years old, and it's a very challenging game, and I actually never really got that far in it. But that didn't stop me from playing it over and over again. I was always brought back to it, and I think it's because I just always liked the atmosphere and the dark tone of the game, you know, with the zombies and the monsters and graveyard scenes like this. It's very reminiscent of Ghosts and Goblins, which is another game I love to play. And I'm sure that game inspired Warlock, but there are some key differences between this and Ghosts and Goblins. For instance, Arthur would always strip down to his underwear every time he was hit by something. The Warlock actually has vitality points, that counter up there. And when the counter reaches 0, that's it, game over. And obviously some enemies will take off more vitality than others, and some things are instant death. Now you also have limited ammunition, I guess you could call it ammunition, your fireballs that you cast from your staff, and you can monitor that by looking at your power counter. Once the power reaches 0, then you have ran out of fireballs, and really you might as well reset the game at that point because you're not going to get very far without any sort of weapon. Luckily, the game throws in some much-needed power-ups every now and then, and these power-ups will increase your vitality, your power, and your armor. Now, the object of Warlock isn't just to destroy all the enemies you see on the screen, although you certainly can, but you're going to run out of power fairly soon, and then you're dead. What you actually need to do is acquire 8 magical objects, and once you've acquired these, you're able to face off against the end boss. If you don't acquire all 8 and you attempt to face off against him anyway, you'll die instantly. Now there's lots of annoying enemies in this game, and probably one of the most annoying ones is this floating eyeball in level 4. He'll just appear out of nowhere, and sometimes you just can't shoot him. And he just sucks the life out of you. Look at that. He just cut my vitality in half. Now a smart gamer would probably give up once the vitality is under 1,000, because really there's no way in hell you're going to beat the game. But me? No, I'm going to press on, and I'm going to keep on fighting until that vitality hits 0. So let's get these freaking green slugs. Oh, well, it was a noble death. Luckily there is a cheat available for this game that will give you endless power and endless vitality. Now, as much as I hate to resort to doing something like that, you know what? After 20 years of getting raped by this game, it's time I started doing the raping. Okay, that really didn't come out right. What I mean to say is I think I've earned the right to see the end of this game. I've put in my time, I've suffered long enough. And if you think I'm being cheap for cheating, well, you're probably right. But what can I say? I want to see the end. So let's do this thing. Alright, so I have 7 of my magical items, and the key is the last one. As you can see, my clairvoyance cannot detect what the end boss is, and so I first have to get the key, and now I have to go back up to the top platform and touch that red ruby. Now, although I am technically invincible, there are certain things that can still kill you in the game, like if you fall in water or if you land on spikes in certain areas. But still, for the most part, I mean, I am cheating, so I'm not going to try to justify it. Alright, so here is the last level of the game, and I just have to touch that Karna, which would normally kill me if I didn't have all 8 objects. And now the gargoyle's hand closes, and there is he. Yeah, a floating blue glob. Not as menacing as the game made him out to be. No, once you get closer to him, you can see it's actually a demon that had his wings closed. And I could imagine this would be a fairly difficult boss if I, wasn't invincible and all. And that's it. You beat the boss. You win the game. Let's see what fantastic end screen I have in store. Warlock is achieved. I waited 20 years to see Warlock is achieved. What a piece of shit.